Thanks for joining me today. Today we are driving down to the Radioactive Mines in the area kind of northeast of Arches National Park. When I first got my Tundra, this was the first off-road trail I did. It was the first time I've been off-road since the early 2000s. And it was just so much fun being able to go into four-wheel drive and go on a dirt road and explore a little bit. So now that I got a new truck, I figured what better drive to do than to head off on the same trail I did the first time I had the Tundra and just enjoy the drive, do a quick little overnighter. It was also the first video I ever made, and looking back at it, it's absolute garbage. So I thought, hey, let's make a new version that's better, and hopefully I've learned some things over the years and we'll see how it turns out. This is prairie dog and pronghorn country. They're just all over the place out here. See the prairie dogs bouncing off into their little burrows as you drive by. Pronghorns don't let you get too close either. They like to just sit out there and graze on the weeds. This northern area is very flat plains, kind of like the area northwest of Arches as well. Up ahead, it's kind of hard to see, but you can just barely see Skyline Arch on the horizon. Kind of gives you an idea of where we're located at. That would be the backside of Skyline Arch, the same part you can see if you're in the campground and you go to one of the Ranger Night Talks. If you turn around and look behind you, you can see Skyline Arch right there in the twilight blue glow. We're looking at it from the same angle. So in between us and Skyline Arch is where Devil's Garden Campground is. If you've ever been camping out there and you looked out towards the Colorado in the east, you were looking out over the train and probably seeing exactly the road that we're on. Start of the canyon. That is a beautiful view. Okay, that is what I wanted to come and see. It's called the diving board. I was curious if it was all it's cracked up to be, and it looks like it is. I know it's a bit of an Instagrammy location, but I don't know the next time I'm going to be out here to see it, so did a little walk off the road to come over here. I'd say it's about 3 feet wide at the end there. I just had ankle surgery though, so I'm not going to push it by going all the way out to the end. Personally, if I went out that far, my girlfriend would probably murder me, and I don't feel that comfortable with it anyway, so for both of our mental safety, I'll stay on this side. While I was standing here flying, I was just noticing that if you go off the high dive, there's almost a nice perfect little break in the rock over there on the other side. I'll bet money this used to be an arch at one point, a long time ago. It's very weathered and rounded on the sides now. This isn't something that happened in humans' lifetime, but yeah, look at all, and all kind of, there's like fractures on either side of that rock. Like there was a lot of stress on it at some point. Okay, here we are at the waterfall. There's the diving board. And once again, at the back end, there's a lot of stress fractures causing some weird wear. Then the whole diving board comes across, meets this right here. The other end of it has a lot of weird stress fractures around it. And both look like they had kind of some damage at the bottom, and a whole bunch of jumbled rocks down here that obviously used to be part of an arch. Here's the other end of the high dive with this end of it's got to be an arch. And then here's where those kind of V-shaped fractures were on either side. But now looking back at the high dive, there is a very definite kind of line of fractures and interesting wear right there that just looks so much like that's where something broke away. I think the high dive actually might have been part of the arch, and then just this whole chunk right here came across. Maybe this might have been the other end, or maybe it was this thin thing that went and got thicker out there. But yeah, I'd bet really good money that this is all a former arch. This Yellow Cat area had a bunch of old mines around it. Moab used to be known for its uranium mining before it was such a big tourist area. And these are all the remains of the mines. One of the reasons I wanted to visit this area is I wanted to do some film photography. Get the camera out so we'll see. Yeah, and get some black and white pictures of old junk, which is so cliche for black and white photography, but I don't care. I'm just out here to have fun. Lately, there's been a definite shift in my photography. I'm finding myself drawn to film, even though my digital skills are probably more refined. And I've been thinking about why that is. I believe it's a reaction to the constant stream of AI-generated outdoor photography we're seeing online. Just one eerily perfect but completely unreal landscape after another. With film, it's the opposite. Even if the shot isn't technically perfect by digital standards, it's authentic. It's a moment captured purely through physics and chemistry, light passing through a lens onto an emulsion, then some chemicals in the right amounts to reveal an image. What I get is an analog slice of a real place I visited, not some flawlessly rendered hollow AI fantasy. Some old wooden remains out here, a bunch of old rusty chunks of stuff, and a big hole in the ground. Oh yeah, sure enough. Right there, just barely in the dark and the light. That's bricked up. So they sealed up this little shaft here. Usually when I see mining, they do it kind of on the rims and stuff like that. Up on these hills, they'll dig straight into the side of those. But then here, I don't know, these guys just decided to dig their dwarf fortress right in the middle of the flat ground. This was probably just so they could back trucks up to load ore into them. So over there, that's where the shaft goes down, or the tunnel or whatever. Then they just bring up all the ore, come up here, back some trucks up here, and you can just dump it all into the back of the trucks. A little dugout here maybe? Yeah, good bet that this was probably just a little rock dugout. Maybe to keep equipment in, or I don't know, if they were staying up here, you might actually want to have a place to sleep. Not much left, but a lot of history here. This is the area of the Ringtail Mine. Got an old wrecked car over there with this pile of old cans. Back in the day when they didn't have pull tabs, you had to use an old church key to pop open both ends. Who knows what this all was? This could have been food, Could have been beers. This must have just been the dump pile. There's also a lot of glass mixed around in this. Looks like somebody's old coffee mug is in here. A lot of people get into the question of when is it okay for them to litter and not for me to litter? Like, if they can dump their garbage, why can't I? And the answer is you should never dump garbage. That's it. Just end with that. This is BLM land. It's against the law. It's littering. So don't do it. That's reason enough right there. This was back when people were mining and they were probably treating the land. They were just trying to get what they wanted out of it and get out of here. They didn't see it for its beautiful use. They might have, but they were here to extract minerals. And it wasn't a tourist site then, so that's one big difference. Totally seized up. None of these. Oh, that guy's still moving. I'm not good at identifying old vehicles, so I'm not sure what it is. And anything that would have identified it's probably been pulled off. Again, that's why you don't want to take from these places. Leave things behind so other people can identify the vehicles. The front end of it. Well, the sun's getting low. We're still not to our campground yet. So just cruising through. Oh man, there's some more mining remains right there. Those weren't even on my map. So we're heading out to where we're going to be camping. It's off a couple beaten tracks. So right now the road is very nice. I don't know if it'll stay that way. I did kind of want to take some pictures from the rim near where I'm camping, so I'm hoping we have time to get the sunset. But we might be setting up camp in the dark if everything, timing gets a little tight. Well, I made it to camp, and up on this here, there's so much of this rock that's translucent. The light shines through it. I don't know what this is called, if it's some type of quartz or something. It's very interesting though. Let's see if we can get some pictures of this magnificent view. You gotta watch out for all the cryptobiotic soil out here. It's very common in these areas that don't get a lot of foot traffic or cow traffic. Luckily there's a lot of slick rock to jump between. And there's a lot of slick rock here because we are going out near a cliff that opens up into a fantastic view. The shadows are starting to reach across the valley, so I'm gonna have to work quick. That is fantastic. What a view. So the rim is outside of Arches. Inside the valley is within Arches. And out here, dead center, straight way out there, that's the window section of Arches. Over here, probably can't see it. I'll get the zoom lens some other time. I can just see through Broken Arch. I was just noticing back here, it looks like there was a recent rock fall too. Look at that bare rock right there. All that white must have just collapsed off down into here. After a beautiful sunset painting the edges of Arches National Park, it was time to settle into the quiet of camp. As the fire dwindled and the stars emerged overhead, it's time to retire to sleep to be prepared for the discoveries of tomorrow. We're heading deeper into this overlooked frontier to explore the main sites that we came all this way to see. If you want to continue the journey, please like and subscribe so you'll be notified when part 2 comes out. Thanks for watching.